found you.
Hello, welcome to the Johnny Come Lately's episode 17, believe it or not, although considering the first 15 episodes were recorded like between a year and like 3 years ago, I don't know if that really counts, but here we go. I am Monodrew, and with me as usual is...
The dreaded Cambrian.
Hey, so how are you doing?
I'm all right, just enjoying another week of lockdown merriment. I do know a lot of things are changing from tomorrow, aren't they?
So I've heard, and you'd think I'd be a bit more cued in on this, considering like the profession. In fact, both of us. But
Yeah.
I kind of don't pay attention when people say there's going to be updates, like until I see something like really concrete.
Yeah, same. No, I'm absolutely the same. And I remember talking to my partner about it, and them getting this saying you really need to pay attention to the news. I'm just like, I don't want to. It's kind of either depressing or just.
Just going to adjust my camera slightly.
I still can't see your beautiful face. I mean, I can on the playbacks.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure why then, unless it's just the OBS just kind of takes priority over the Skype.
Yeah, probably.
On the video feed. Yeah, kind of the same. Lockdowns, it feels strangely normal, which is actually a really horrible thing, and it really shouldn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
everyone's excited that gyms are reopening, and to be honest, I do miss gyms, but
yeah,
I don't want to jump straight back into them. I kind of want to see how everybody else reacts to it first. I think people are kind of disgusting, even before a pandemic.
At least not be amongst like the first wave.
Yeah, I expect that we might end up hitting another lockdown. I'll be honest with you, but that's just me, and I don't want to be that guy.
You can't see it, but there's this weird visual effect with my mug for some reason. Like the background image I'm using of the reactor control room, I think, is like showing through the top of my mug. I don't know why.
That's cool.
Oh well. But yeah. I mean, I've got like gym equipment at home. In fact, I like did like a fairly decent workout today. Didn't eat the correct foods to support that mind, but that's usually my fucking problem on the weekend. Through the week, I'm tend to be alright, but through the weekend, especially if I've had like a really late night on the Friday, the Saturday tends to be quite poor for food because I'm just tired, I've prepared nothing, and I will just eat what's instantly available.
Yeah, same. Weekends are pretty much a downfall, and I'm actually going to be off for quite some time soon as well. I took quite a lot of annual leave just due to birthdays and things. So I'm going to try my hardest not to binge on junk.
Yeah. I mean, Easter's over. That was like the worst period. Like, my weight shot up ridiculously over Easter.
I went back down again.
Yeah, I went from something stupid like 87 like kilograms to like 90 something. Like within the space of a fucking week.
Oh, you're doing a lot better than I am, mind you. You've got a lot more commitment to it. I kind of seem to have dropped the ball on it, especially lately. I've not trained in so long. And I will go back on, and it's my excuse. I'm not one of those where I'm like, you need to accept me the way I look now. I'm not happy the way I look now. I want to improve it. So
me neither. I mean, I'm kind of I consistently train. Like I train sort of 6 times a week. Not at the same intensity, mind. Like I'm not going like crazy with it, but
yeah,
I tend to where I feel tends to be just on the eating side of things. And I had a decent food plan today, and like after this, I will be cooking dinner. But I've also been food shopping, and like when I'm food shopping, if there's like any special thing on offer, like there was a load of chicken on clearance and other smaller snacks, so I've just ended up like eating that and gorging a bit, and I'll probably just have more chicken for dinner, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a good meat.
It's a good meat in moderation, like anything in moderation, to be honest.
Yeah, I suppose. Except celery, you could probably eat that until you explode, and the only reason you'll have died is because you've exploded.
Yeah. Suddenly imagining a scene from Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking of the Monty Python one.
Oh God, that's gross.
The meaning of life, isn't it? God.
More.
Would you like was it a wafer mint?
Yeah.
Fuck off, I'm full.
God, I was about to say that's a weird fucking movie, but it's Python, so that's kind of a given.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, it was John Cleese was asked by some Hollywood producer if he could make a movie, pay him $1 million. So they just pulled something out of their arse, and something out of Monty Python's arse is pretty good still. So
Yeah.
it's weaker than their other movies in my opinion, but it's okay.
I mean, it's more creative than like now for something completely different, I guess, since that's just clips.
Yeah. Or reshot sketches sometimes as well on that one, wasn't it?
But yeah, so well, missing Jim, so am I.
The thing I'm missing the most, to be honest, I think we mentioned last time, was cinemas. Especially
Yes.
now that I know that Godzilla versus King Kong's come out. Because that just seemed to come out and there was no fanfare for it. And why would there be? You can't see it at the cinema anymore. And that's the only thing I genuinely do miss in a big way.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't actually checked it out myself. I don't know if they'll kind of arrange any sort of home release for it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
you can rent it, yeah.
because they have for some other things, I will get on that a bit later because it's kind of related to some of the stuff I wanted to talk about. But yeah, and I wouldn't mind actually seeing that. But
Yeah, same.
I've heard mixed things, but I'd still like to see it for myself.
Yeah, I tend not to pay too much mind to. There's people's opinion I do trust. Like
Oh.
even if you were to,
You've got the crackle again.
is it still doing it?
Little bit. I can still hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, I've had it slightly spoiled as well, which is all a lot of fun. Oh, you like Godzilla, don't you? Oh, yeah, okay. Then here's this thing that happens in it. Thank you. I did like it.
It wasn't from like an old friend we haven't seen in a while, was it? Who notoriously ruined everything.
No, he hasn't actually spoken to me like for a long time, so I'm okay with that. It's just somebody else I know from work.
Yeah. Just trying to think. I mean, there's been some some other film news recently, and Alien was actually trending on Twitter the past week.
Oh, I wonder why.
Believe it or not. No, I can tell you why. It's because I'm assuming she is a journalist. I'll just bring it up because I have it saved here. God, there's so much crap on this phone. Yeah, I think she's a journalist. I'm not sure. Someone called Ellie Hunt on Twitter has put a poll which has settled an argument: is Alien a horror film? Give reasons why, please.
Yeah.
So, result of the poll was a 94% saying yes, which is correct. And if you disagree, you are just wrong. It's not even for a fucking debate.
You're playing wrong.
Yeah, but one of the people who did, interestingly enough, disagree with that is Ellie Hunt herself. Which she said in reply to another comment that my argument is horror cannot be set in space.
Why?
I don't know, because some people seem to have a really kind of odd perception of what they think horror is, or a view. Like, one person, for instance, said, horror is usually people knowingly doing unspeakable things to other people.
Like the Wayland Corporation?
Yeah, but also, you'd call, like, supernatural horror, for instance. Would that necessarily class as people doing things to people?
Good point. Yeah, good point. Or anything in the deep sea. You've got the likes of Deep Rising, which has a giant monster in it. Is that a horror?
Yeah, someone else said no, horror needs to be grounded in an earthly setting to give you a sense that could happen to you. Where's this definition coming from exactly?
Do the things that happen in the movie, are they horrific? Yes, then it's a horror. Just saying. Like, can you not have a romantic comedy set in space? And
yeah, and they also said that using sci-fi as a vehicle for the story, it loses that connection. It's just a scary futuristic film. I'd say you should refocus on the word scary. As in horrifying, as in Alien is a fucking horror movie. Yeah,
absolutely, yeah. The second one even is, as well, to be honest. It's a lot more action-packed, but there's sub-genres. Would you then say the original Godzilla or Gojira 1954 is a horror film? Absolutely.
Oh god, it's very scary film. Even me watching as an adult, it's just got like a atmosphere and just this unknowingly all-powerful monster that could just stamp you into non-existence. Is like terrifying.
Absolutely. And again, there's no technically human horror in it, even though he's an allegory for
The
the well,
bomb.
Nagasaki, yeah. Um, but the actual horror just comes from this monster itself. So okay, it's not a horror then, in that opinion, despite the fact it is clearly a horror. Like,
Hmm.
um, I think all of the Alien films are horror, even Aliens, the sequel. Like I say, with a subgenre, you've got with that one specifically, it would be an action sci-fi horror,
Yeah.
where the first one is just sci-fi horror.
Mm.
You can do that with things. Romantic comedy doesn't mean it's not a comedy film or a romance movie. It's a subgenre of both.
Yeah.
So I don't get why people and why that's an issue, even.
I don't know, and I'm not sure. I mean, it was kind of fun that people were talking about it because it was kind of weird and came from nowhere. But yeah, I mean, yeah, someone else who was the person that Ellie Hunt was replying to when she said horror cannot be set in space did point out that Alien itself also has slasher horror beats to it.
Absolutely, like the unseen killer stalking its prey in the dark and
Taking
only picking
people
you off
one
one
by
by one,
one.
with the final girl Ripley as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, I do another horror podcast, and we're talking about our favorite female leads in horror.
Hmm.
And extremely high on both of our lists actually was Sigourney Weaver's Ripley,
Yeah.
because she is the archetype. She's the perfect. She's not the Scream Queen. Obviously, that would either go to Janet Leigh or Jamie Lee.
Hmm.
But she's the perfect protagonist. She's the ideal final girl. I couldn't think of her there for some reason,
No.
because she looks for the creature. She's the one who thwarts it, and throughout the entire movie, she's right.
Yeah.
The entire 4 movies she features, she's correct. She doesn't make a wrong decision. And a lot of people rip on her for picking Jonesy back up at the end of the movie. If you didn't do that, you're a monster. I'm totally going to go back for the cat. I'm
Oh, I'd
sorry.
do that. I mean,
Yeah.
she did. I mean, she did abandon him to begin with because she was faced with an imminent threat.
Yeah.
But it's when she came back and realized there was a chance to save Jonesy that she took it.
Yeah. So she's not putting herself in any unnecessary danger.
Not any more than she was already.
Yeah. Because that would have just meant the death of both of them anyway. So, oh no, I love Ripley. In my opinion, is the best protagonist in anything,
Yeah.
and it's because of the fact that she's in a horror film, which for me puts them very high up already,
Hmm.
and the fact that she's also the best character in a horror film as well.
She goes
It's
through.
also,
Yeah.
go on, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say she goes through like such an arc as well. Like, she very much is the victim, but also final girl in the first film, and then on the second one, she kind of starts off like that, and then kind of starts to take control of things and
Yeah.
starts to become a more of an active antagonistic force against like the evil.
Yeah, and it's quite nice because in the second one as well, she's trying to sort of rekindle a connection, not with her daughter, because her daughter's obviously aged to death by the time she gets back, but trying to get that relationship back with Newt.
Yeah.
But the way that's done is really nice. It's not the entire point of the film, while still being a very integral part. Because at the end, you've got the face off between the Queen, who's looking after her children, as it were, or the nest,
Yeah.
and Ripley, who's looking after her now surrogate daughter. And it's a beautiful. Aliens is one of the most amazing films, but Alien also, and both of them, I can tell you all now, Ellie Hunt or whatever your name is,
Yeah.
I've forgotten her name already. It's a horror film, like, and feel free to comment on this video whether or not you agree, and if you've got any good reasons. This is just my opinion. It's also a fact, but I don't know.
I mean, I would say if one of the themes of a film is being scared, then as far as I'm concerned, you could make the argument it's horror if it's one of the main ingredients.
To a degree, it's also body horror as well,
Oh,
or
definitely.
gore horror, especially John Hurt with a one of the best scenes in any cinematic movies of all time. It's great.
It was great. I was got my partner to watch that for like the very first time while I was there, and I was just waiting for that scene and just an absolute glee, kind of like looking over at them.
Nice. Watching somebody watch Alien for the first time for that scene, especially if they've not seen it, in itself is as entertaining as when you first saw it and you
Yeah.
looked over to see your parents watching your reaction as well.
I probably overexposed them a bit because we kind of had a double feature night, so we did that and then immediately went into Aliens. And
Nice.
Probably should have let them stew over it a little bit, but I just really wanted to see Aliens again.
They're honestly such a good film to double bill, though.
Yeah.
And I tend to watch the director's cut of both, because I think Aliens, the director's cut, is actually much better.
I don't watch any other version except like the special edition for Aliens.
Yeah, and we were talking about this as well. I've got the 30th anniversary. It's now what, nearly 50, or is 50?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. My God. Well, it'll be 40 because it came out in the 70s. Sorry, but it's the Alien head. So the 30th anniversary, and it's got all of them, and it's got both versions. So the director's cut of every movie of all 4 movies that existed at the time, and the normal one. And Alien 3 is honestly vastly different. Like, completely, not many people have seen it as well. Like, the dog alien in it isn't a dog alien, despite the fact it acts an awful lot like a dog throughout.
Yeah.
It's like a cow. A facehugger jumped on a dead cow, and that still worked somehow. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I still haven't seen the assembly cut.
Oh, then I won't ruin anything.
Oh, no, I know what happens in it, because I watch a lot of, media about, like, sci-fi and things I like. So I know what the differences are, I just haven't seen it. And
fair. Because there's a lot more Paul McGann.
Which is a plus.
More. Yeah.
And I know a lot of people do prefer the assembly cut by far.
Yeah, I would agree. But the director's cut for, what's the 4th one called? Is it
Resurrection?
Yeah, 'cause you see, I'm okay with that film. I think is a movie featuring a xenomorph, even if it's a poor movie, is still kind of a fun film.
It makes a good popcorn movie.
Yeah, except Covenant or whatever it was called, the piece of shit prequel that they did.
I've heard, I haven't seen it, I've heard the director's cut for Prometheus is also an improvement, but...
You see, I've got nothing against Prometheus. I've got a lot against the fans after Prometheus, where they were telling me that I didn't understand. I absolutely do. Get the fuck out of my face, or I'm going to kill you.
Not that deep, bro.
Yeah, it's not. It's really not. But it's a good film, and I think it would have benefit from not being linked to Alien.
Yeah.
In any way, to be honest. And you can tell Ridley Scott wanted to do a creation movie, and they told him, we want you to do another Alien film, and you don't piss off a Hollywood producer or he'll never work again, no matter who you are. And that's probably what happened. And have you seen Covenant?
Yes, that's the worst one.
The bit where the alien comes out of that guy's chest and then starts raising his arms, I legitimately thought it was going to start dancing. It was horrible.
Well, like the scene from Spaceballs.
Yeah, almost exactly like that. It was Michael Fassbender, the movie featuring aliens, essentially.
Yeah, he's arguably the main character.
Oh, God. And when he blows his own flute.
Yeah.
And that twist that everybody saw coming, like, oh, he switched himself. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I was watching a review actually of Covenant recently as well. I mean, I've seen it before, so it wasn't spoiling anything. But he pointed out, whenever a movie introduces like 2 identical looking characters, you automatically know they're going to get switched at some point.
Exactly. God, and but they even managed to ruin the first film by showing the derelict and having them open up or at least showing that the thing that you see on that what looks like a telescope, but God knows it's an alien ship, is actually a suit, and what's inside them is one of those things from Prometheus.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
No. Well, the fact of the matter is, when you watch the first Alien, they cut to it and you see its rib cage. That's the point. They even say something broke out of it or whatever, and you can see the juice. Well, fossilized juice.
Yeah.
But man, that scene's such a good scene in the first one, and they managed to ruin it. It's a bit like the Thing prequel.
And the implication is the derelict ship that they find is ancient. It's been there for thousands and thousands of years. Yet, supposedly now calling it Covenant, David just created the aliens in, like, the past century or something.
Which is just so dumb. Like, because that was basically fossilized, that creature. It was grafted to the whatever it was sat in, which looks like a telescope or some sort of side navigation thing. But it reminds me, honestly, of the Thing prequel. I don't know if you've seen that as well.
Yeah, it's a fucking abortion.
Oh, it's horrible. It's so painful. It's the fact they've got to feature inside the UFO, and it's like nobody cared. nobody watching the original thing thought, I wish there was a massive scene where the thing manages to get into the UFO, but they manage to crash it again. Of which there's no evidence in the John Carpenter version, which is the sequel now.
Yeah.
The only good thing about it is the end, and that sounds proper scathing, but they managed to nail the scene. Like the helicopter, everything is just, it's exact. And I've seen it like twice now, and the second time I watched the prequel and the Carpenter one, and the mood change is just ridiculous. Like your own personal mood and the tone of the movie as well. But I think you pointed out once when we were talking about it, where one of the characters swings the axe and it cuts the thing creature and it flies off into two opposite directions. And the main character goes, "No, leave it there," as he's reaching for it. And it's like,
for no reason.
Yeah, why? Is it because it's in the John Carpenter one? Is it? And nobody asked the question, how is there an axe embedded in the wall? Because you can kind of fill that in yourself.
God, I think what really pissed me off about the Thing prequel as well is, like, in the lead up to it, they were saying a lot about how they were back to using practical effects and how great they were going to be. And then when you see the movie, it's all really rubbery CGI shit, which confused and annoyed me, and that's part of the reason why I haven't watched it again. But what I learned recently is they did actually do all those practical effects, and then the studio didn't like it, so they actually CG'd over the practical shit they already did.
Have you seen the practical effects? Look great.
Sorry, you're breaking up a bit.
Oh, sorry. Have you seen the practical effects as well?
Yeah. Well, I've seen like some clips of it, but
it looks amazing. It would have been a vast improvement.
Sorry, can you tap your mic or something?
Oh yeah. Is that any better?
I'm really struggling to hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can, yeah.
Nah, sorry, fellas. I am going to buy a new mic, like this thing as well. I might get the one that you mentioned and send the link for to as well. So
yeah, it seems to be working, though I'm sure the audience will be the judge of that.
But I think you also point out as well that the thing's character changed.
Yeah, it's not being stealthy or smart like it is in the original movie. It's just purposely putting itself in situations where it's getting caught.
Like, it's in the helicopter at one point. It's like, okay, you've won. Oh, no, it's fine. You're just going to rip open your face and kill everyone, then crash the helicopter and die.
For no reason. It could literally have sat and done nothing and it would have won.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so dumb. But yes, Alien is awful. But look, would this then also go so far as to say the Thing wouldn't be? It is set on Earth, but it's still in a very similar sort of way.
I'd say the Thing is absolutely a horror movie as well.
Yeah, but in their own stupid opinion, they possibly argue, oh, well, maybe it's not. It is.
Well, me and my partner also watched the Thing as part of our Halloween movie marathons, and as far as I'm concerned, if it's included in my marathon, then it's a horror.
It absolutely is. I mean, the Hannah Montana movie would be in my horror list. I've never seen it.
Me neither. I just know it was released at the same time as J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, and we went to see that, and we could well have made the wrong choice there.
Oh, yeah. There's a wonderful picture of us in the uniforms, because we bought the T-shirts, stood in front of the Hannah Montana posters.
Actually, I showed one picture of us in our fucking costumes on the last episode. I'll throw up that particular one now as well, just for fucking laughs. My God, we were younger and a lot fatter then.
Nice. Nah, we're doing all right, and cinema isn't though. I genuinely can't think of anything I want to watch that's coming out soon, except maybe the new Halloween. But I am a bit worried about how it's going to be aired, because I don't think it might. Yeah, it might get a cinema screening, but I don't know.
As much as I liked 2018, it was also with the feeling that maybe this should be it, because if you go further, you actually risk ruining, this wonderful way you've brought it back.
Yeah. I do know that they're doing at least 2 more, and they're filming them together. I kind of hope what they did with Back to the Future, that they do with this. Mm-hmm. So part 2 and 3, you could literally, your ticket would get you to see part 2. You could then go to see part 3 with it. They won't, because the studio will lose a lot more money that way. But that would be awesome. because I would quadruple bill them. I would watch the first one, 2018, then those two if I could. That would be great.
That would be a good day, man. I wonder if they're going to get around to doing like movie marathons again. It would be kind of cool if when October comes they start doing them. I suppose it just depends what way the world's going to be then.
Yeah. Oh, I am a little bit tired. At one point, I was actually thinking this isn't so bad. Like I like my own company and I like being in and doing my own things, and I was training okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone too long now. I kind of want to go outside.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just before recording this, I like went out food shopping, and even just that mundane task, it's nice to just be outside.
Yeah. When that's the highlight of your day, you know, you want to be out a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. But as usual, we went off on a tangent.
No, that's absolutely fine. God, like, I'm just mentioning stuff I've seen on Twitter because stupidity on Twitter is a daily thing, but this is kind of from last week, to be honest. There was an article in The Telegraph recently as well by, I'm guessing, someone from their film critic department, basically saying that no film critics aren't out of touch, internet warriors are the problem.
Okay.
And, like, the sort of subtitle, a recent study says divisive films such as The Last Jedi are hated by the public and loved by critics, but the true dynamic is murkier. There's a weird trend that's, like, been around in Hollywood for, like, the past decade or so, where there's this kind of perception that they're not making movies for fans and audiences, they're making it for critics and for, well, virtue signaling or political points.
Mm.
And my argument is, no, you make films for your fucking audience.
Yeah, it's like making... You go into McDonald's and order a burger and they give you fish and chips.
Yeah.
You're giving me the wrong thing. Nobody would come back to that. People forget that films are a product.
Mm-hmm.
And the consumers, as much as you might not like them, are actually always correct because they're the ones who are buying it.
Yeah.
So if they don't like it, maybe listen to them.
And
that's just that, you know.
Pretty much entirely supporting your industry.
Exactly, yeah. But no, it'll probably shrivel and die like everything else. But
yeah, I would have I would have read a bit more of the article, but as the way things are, it's like an online Telegraph article, and I'm not paying for a fucking subscription just to read a fucking stupid article with a stupid opinion piece.
Yeah. No, I agree. I tend not to, especially when I'm going to see a film, I'll never read a review beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
But afterwards, sometimes it's nice to see what reactions are, especially if I liked it.
Yeah.
And the critic reviews are the only ones I don't bother reading anymore. It's always the consumer reviews because obviously I'm a consumer. That's
mm-hmm.
what I'm a happy consumer. I don't know. That's just got in my head as well.
Well, no, that's what they want you to be. They want you to just be consumer consuming anything that they give you. They don't want you to actually think for yourself and, you know, possibly criticize it because it's not your place. You know, you're plebeian.
Yeah. Mind you, I like The Last Jedi to a point. It was just a fun shut your brain off kind of movie, but I get all the criticisms that audiences have of it, and I absolutely appreciate it.
I don't...
Go on.
No,
Sorry.
I don't like it at all, and it actually took me a few days to get to that opinion, because a bit like when episode 1 came out, I think there was a stage of denial where you're just trying to look at the positive sides, and then after it sits with you, it's always like, oh shit, that really wasn't very good, was it?
Do you know, I might still be in that denial, to be honest. I really like The Emperor, and I thought, cool.
Oh, dude, wrong movie. Last Jedi was the one before it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Is that the one with the weird casino?
Yes, yeah, that's Last Jedi.
Yeah, that entire scene could come out of... to be honest, that whole trilogy for me was okay. Like, I get it. It was... I don't know. I never remember the titles because I just don't care, which is probably worse than if it was bad.
Now, you talk about, you were mentioning Rise of Skywalker there. I do think it's also a garbage movie, but I will agree with you in the sense that that one's actually just more enjoyable as a switch your brain off movie.
Yeah. Where the second one, I think, was trying to be a bit like Empire was, which was, again, in my opinion, the best of the original trilogy because it was just the one that had the most impact. And I feel like this one was trying to give you the biggest sort of I really don't know what it was trying to do. That whole scene in the casino was needless.
Well, there was a lot of ideology behind the scenes, I can tell you that, and that's responsible for a lot of what made it on screen.
Oh, was there? Oh.
Yeah.
I don't even really look into that as well anymore, to be honest.
No,
I know there was a lot of
the people behind the scenes and like the director and that. They're definitely trying to push their own messages.
Yeah, I know. Is it Finn, one of the characters who was the stormtrooper?
The most wasted character in like Star Wars history.
Yeah. Does he at one point he gets a lightsaber and uses it a little bit
in Force Awakens?
Yeah, people really kicked off about that, and it was like, of everything you had to complain about, that was the last thing. Like, that was fine. He picks up a lightsaber. It's like somebody picking up a sword. It's okay.
No, that's fine. I mean, I actually do. I will disagree with a lot of other people who I follow. I do actually like The Force Awakens. It's a bit of a retread of the first Star Wars movie, but it's fun, and there was a lot of potential there to do like really cool things, like especially with Finn, like a former stormtrooper, and then the two movies after that just fucking did nothing but waste your time.
Yeah, he's a background at that point. Even the introduction to Kylo.
That was good. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was really nice. And I like that he wasn't just Vader.
Yeah.
And everybody kicked off. The same people who didn't like it because it was a retread of the original Star Wars are the same people that didn't like that he wasn't Darth Vader. It's like, well, what do you want? Make your mind up.
No, I still backed for The Force Awakens, believe it or not. It's not a great movie, but I've rewatched it a couple of times. I will not rewatch any of the following two.
I feel like it's a one and done deal, to be honest, where I occasionally sit and think, oh, I might watch the original trilogy. I've still not seen I've seen episode 2, but not episode 3 all the way through yet.
That's arguably the better of the prequels.
Yeah, I was enjoying it, but I think I came off to do something else and then just never had because it was just sort of, I hate using the term because it's a very internet thing, but like meh. It's fine. Which is a bit like the most recent trilogy for me. It's just meh. Okay, they're films that exist.
I cannot hear what you're saying.
Is it getting that bad?
Yeah.
No. If I mute a bit and wiggle 2 seconds.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay, I can. You're quiet, but I can hear you.
Oh, is that any better though?
It's clearer, but you're quieter.
Give me a moment. But yeah, sorry, continue.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Is that louder as well?
It could probably be a bit louder, but I wonder if I can affect that.
I've turned me up a bit.
I've turned you up a little bit as well on this end.
Excellent.
Okay, yeah, actually, I can hear you a bit better now.
Sweet. Sorry about my mic, guys. It is shitey.
Yeah, it's fine.
I was trying to think of other things because I've not seen all of Mandalorian yet, and I was enjoying it. But I really did enjoy Rogue One. In my opinion, is one of the best movies in the Star Wars franchise.
I agree with that. It's not great and it's a bit uneven, but as a whole, yeah, definitely one of the better ones. And I've rewatched that a few times as well since it came out.
Just for Vader at the end.
That's the best Vader scene
of all time. It's so cool.
And someone else pointed this out. It kind of incorporates like loads of previous Vader elements about like how he uses the Force and how he uses the lightsaber, and just condenses like all of like Vader's badassery and scare factor in like a 3-minute scene.
Yeah. Because I think it's a product of its time, sadly. But he was always talked about like he was that badass. But you never ever fully got to see it, sadly.
That's one of the great things about the Fallen Order, though, is when spoiler, Vader does show up at the end of the game, and you can kind of fight them as you can everything else, but you can't beat them. Your best option is just to survive and run.
I like that because the end fight with the boss that you do have is actually quite difficult, and you really it's balanced though. It's a bit like Dark Souls. I think I've mentioned to yourself as well, where you've just got to be good at it and really try.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do finally get through, you get this sense of accomplishment. You're like, oh, this is totally badass. Then all of a sudden, as she's monologuing, you just hear, and your heart's just like, oh
Yeah.
fuck. He like lifts up or something. She goes to have a go at him or something. He just sort of brushes her off like she's nothing, and you're like, I'm in trouble here.
Yeah.
And then it cuts, and you're about as Cal, I'm sure the main character's name is.
Mm-hmm.
I have to fight him. I've literally just had a fight with this boss that he just brushed off, and then she nearly killed me 25 million times.
Mm-hmm.
It's that whole bit was bravo, just bravo.
Yeah, and I never noticed as well until I watched a V and Fuso video this past week. Cal Kestis is the Joker kid from Gotham.
Yeah. That was one of the selling points for me, to be honest, because I think he's a great Joker. I don't know. I think I mentioned to you while you were playing it as well. Did you notice the second Spartacus is a voice?
Yeah, Liam McIntyre. That was cool.
He plays a couple of people in it, but one of them's that guy who uses. I think he's a Jedi, or like a.
He's like a crazed Jedi.
Yeah, like he's lost the title, but he still has the power, obviously.
Yeah, he's learned some of the dark arts of Dathomir.
Yeah. It was cool to be on Dathomir, actually, because it always gets mentioned, and I think you see it briefly.
You see it in the Clone Wars series.
Yeah, I've heard that's worth a watch as well.
It's, I mean, it's, first couple of seasons especially. I mean, it is directed towards kids, and it's like it's very much a kids show. But as it goes on, it starts like building its own continuity in canon, and as a whole, I honestly think it's among the better Star Wars products.
Yeah. No, I'll have to check it out. There's a lot I need to watch, but to be honest with you, with all the politics and things that are linked to franchises lately, I find it very difficult to get enthusiastic about it, which is the main reason why I've not finished off Mandalorian and had the spoiler that I mentioned to you before as well, which I won't spoil for everyone listening here because I'm not that way inclined.
I won't spoil it either, although it was already spoiled for me, so I knew it was coming.
Yeah, I mean, that was the main reason, but that and... well, as you've mentioned before, the politics behind a lot of it, that comes with it now. So you're just watching it and you think, oh, it actually feels like you're living through it almost like fucking hell. Here we go. It might just be me. I don't know. Being a filmmaker and that way inclined, I want to be able to make a film and to have none of that shit linked because I haven't got the time for it. I'm not that I'm that old, but...
No, that's fair enough. I don't suppose you've been keeping up with Falcon and Winter Soldier. I've seen none of it yet.
I watched episode 1. I do know the reveal of something that happens in part 1 or episode 1, which I won't tell you, just in case that you get it ruined. But the internet seems to have exploded over it, and one of the actors is getting death threats. Don't do that, man.
Yeah, that's to your typical rational reaction to fiction.
Yeah. It's for a character that appears in the comics as well. So a character that appears in the comics that is linked to what has happened in the movies and what is happening in the show. Again, no spoilers. So something that is well established that if it didn't happen, people would complain about because they're all comic wankers as well. I am too. But when it does happen, death threats. All right, then let's just not make things anymore. Then I don't get it. And I wouldn't mind the actors, Kurt Russell's son, and I feel a little bit defensive because I love Kurt Russell so much.
Well, I've heard, among other things, it's going to be a lot shorter series. I think it's only going to be about 6 episodes as opposed to WandaVision's was it 9 or 10?
Yeah.
And I will check it out myself. I will reserve my own judgment for when I see it, but I have heard there's a lot of woke bullshit has been introduced in it recently.
You see, that's one of the reasons why WandaVision worked so well. It was a standalone. It was entertainment. It was great. It had a message. It absolutely did. It was just fun.
Yeah, but it all kind of came together well. I mean, when we did our little review of WandaVision, I pointed out some of the stuff I didn't like, but it didn't detract too much from the thing as a whole.
Yeah. Not that hopeful then for what's coming to follow. What is to follow after that is the Loki series, which sounds like it would be a great idea. But if they start doing all that shit as well for that, they're going to ruin their own favorite character. I I don't know. I'm not getting into it.
No. Best not. I think it's okay to touch on this stuff sometimes, but you don't want to get like too bogged down. And believe me, I'm going to be mentioning some stuff anyway, at least in passing. So
that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know if there was sort of too much kind of going on through the week that I wanted to bring up. There is kind of a particular topic I wouldn't mind touching on though, just because I've been thinking about it and watching stuff about it recently, and I kind of wanted to talk about the DC cinematic universe.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
You want to, and probably haven't noticed because I'm wearing a checkered shirt and I'm just a lonely old farm boy, but might be something else under there. Oh yeah, you can't see. I'm wearing my Superman t-shirt.
I'll react though.
Well, it's a Superman t-shirt. It's more specifically, it's a pajama t-shirt.
Nice. You could have got away with that.
Yeah, it's my Superman jammies.
Nice. Well, I know you were talking to me just off recording as well about wanting to rewatch Smallville, which is an absolutely amazing series.
Yeah, I'm in a real for some reason I'm in a right DC mood at the moment, and especially Superman. I was kind of in the mood to watch some of the old Reeve films, and especially Smallville.
Nice. Christopher Reeves as well. He was honestly such a perfect cast. He's just likable. Do you know what I heard today? Because I was talking about this on the other cast almost, because I mentioned Margot Kidder as one of my favourite actresses.
Yeah.
And she actually helped cast Reeves, but apparently Reeves and Robin Williams were very close.
Mm-hmm.
And after Reeves had his accident, he was in a hospital bed, and the first person to visit him was actually Robin Williams, because they were that close.
Yeah.
And he was just trying to cheer him up. He was dressed in a lab coat, talking about how he was going to shave him completely and stuff like that. Which is just heartbreaking. Like the two of them are just very talented, and sadly both gone as well. What a room though! That must have been awesome to, like, before the accident.
Oh yeah, of course. But
yeah.
Talking about the DC movies though, like I was specifically thinking about talking about the more modern ones, as in DC's attempt to emulate and compete with Marvel, which they're not.
No.
Sorry, and I'm definitely more of a DC Comics guy, but you're not doing it, man. You're
good attempt though, because some of the films are all right.
Some of it's a good attempt, but I mean, kind of what wanted me to kind of bring it up as well is I recently did see the Snyder cut of Justice League, which is kind of a topic on its own. I'll get to it, but kind of wanted to just like quickly jump through the rest. Now, one of the bigger DC films we've had in like the past 20 years is arguably the like Dark Knight and like the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. I wouldn't necessarily consider them kind of part of the current universe though, just because they were kind of just before it.
Yeah, they're their own thing, really.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, not that DC movies these days even keeps like particularly that consistent. But I did a little bit of look back, sort of seeing which films were released at what year and what the budgets were. And can you fucking believe Man of Steel was released like 8 years ago?
Really?
Yeah.
I remember going to see that. Jesus.
Me too, and I remember really disliking it at the time. I think it might actually be worth a rewatch, to be honest.
I'm okay with it now. I've rewatched it once, and I actually, you know what, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not like Avengers, when we mentioned last episode, even when we both saw that, it was just like, nah. But now it's mint.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I really do like Cavill's Superman, though.
Oh, I think he's... I think if you can't have Reeves, which obviously even if he was alive and still healthy, he wouldn't be Superman now.
Yeah.
Cavill's like the next absolute perfect casting for Clark Kent and Superman.
Yeah, apparently he's just a lovely dude as well, which is awesome.
Oh, I love the guy in a mostly heterosexual way.
I've still not seen The Witcher, because I know he's part of that as well.
It's okay. He's good, and apparently he's a big fan of the games as well, so I think he was just really buzzed to play like Geralt.
Yeah, he's a massive geek, isn't he, apparently?
Yeah, I think he likes his PC games and...
So if you're going to go around talking about whoever King of the Geeks is, it's probably not going to be what's his face who did Avengers.
Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon.
Oh
is
God,
probably the guy
I'm gonna bring him up as well in a bit.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, fucking
it's probably the guy who's currently playing Superman, who's really King of the Geeks. So.
Oh, speaking of, I'm not going to talk too much about it because I haven't seen it myself. But the new Superman and Lois series, that's been getting some really good feedback from people.
I didn't know there was one. That's quite a surprise, even.
Now, it's a CW show, and it's also is kind of tied into their other CW universe, which, includes Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, and Batwoman, unfortunately, as well as the Flash series. But, no, like, so far, unlike a lot of those shows, a lot of people who hate those shows have actually been enjoying Superman and Lois.
Damn.
Now, I think
my dad loves Supergirl. He thought it was a great show, and it did wane, though.
I haven't seen it, but from what I've heard from other people whose opinions I kind of trust, is that it did actually start off really good, but towards now, it's like really waned very poorly.
Oh, it's a shame. Shame. I'm not surprised, though, to be honest.
Whereas Batwoman, on the other hand, has apparently just always been absolute garbage. Like, we're 2 seasons in, its ratings are absolutely in the toilet. Barely anyone watches it, but
yeah,
because of the stances and the certain virtue signaling, they're probably not going to want to cancel it.
No, my dad is legitimately angry at that show. He watched a few episodes.
From what I've heard, I would be too.
Yeah. Well, apparently it's just because he's a comic fan as well, and he actually likes the character in the comics. It's just a travesty. Like, it's not the character at all in any shape or form. It's not even an interpretation. It's just a new character with that as a title. It's awful.
And constantly talking about how gay they are and how terrible men are.
Because that's what you want to watch. Like, that's so super entertaining. Like, there is a place for that sort of thing, but when it's just rammed down your fucking throat.
Well, I never read too much Batwoman myself, although I do know a little bit about the character. I know she is, like, canonically a lesbian anyway, but that's not her defining fucking trait.
Exactly.
And to be honest, unless the focus of your story, like if you're doing a film or something where sexuality is the focus, it should never be anyone's defining trait.
Absolutely, because if that is your only your only character, you have no character.
No.
Like, you just have a sexual preference. That's not a character trait. That is all it is. Oh man, people can't write anymore.
And Lost Star Trek recently has been like that as well. It's like,
yeah, I've heard.
Oh, you're non-binary. Cool. Then that is your character trait.
What was the? It was America we were watching where there was just a show that come out, and the first line in it was, "You're really brave," talking to the character who was.
Oh, it was
trans or
what? You're trans? Oh, that takes such strength of character. Oh, what was it? It was Generation something. It was like it was an animated show, but yeah. I think it was getting crowdfunded, but didn't really make it, or it did make its crowdfunding goal, but they never produced it anyway because, like, a lot of these fucks are kind of just grifters.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good grift though.
I would do it myself. I wouldn't just hate myself doing it so much, and actively making the world a worse place.
If I wanted to be able to sleep at night.
Yeah. God, I mean, I don't really have a problem with anyone. It's just, again, it's like when you're making certain things like a trait above all else, or rather than focus of making a good story, you just want to like signal a virtue point or something. You're not making a good product, and that's one of the problems with Star Trek. If I'll just very briefly mention this before we get back on DC. Is Alex Kurtzman, like the showrunner of Discovery and kind of the lead of all the recent Star Trek stuff, has out loud said that he's using Star Trek as a platform. So
it's not entertainment anymore?
No, it's propaganda. That's what it is. It's just a message. It's a virtue signal.
Sorry, everything jumped there.
It's not a problem.
Yeah, well, isn't that what fascists do.
Mm.
Just saying, like, isn't that historically what certain people did?
Yeah. And it's also weirdly, like, non-inclusive because, you know, everyone's welcome where everyone's diverse unless you question certain things, in which case you're going to be ostracized.
Okay, I genuinely think there's a place for it, and there's a time and place, but to latch on to a well-established product for that, you like you said, it's just a platform now. It's not entertainment. It's not a film. I think I've mentioned
Not even smart. Like Star Trek used to be smart as well.
Well, it has to be. It's the longest running sci-fi of all time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, if you count it as a whole, like, I mean, it's all made up of different series and spin-offs. But if you count the whole thing as a single universe, then yeah, it's one of the longest.
That's a shame. I've not seen much of it. I'm not a huge Trekkie. I think I watched the classic series and a bit of the one with Picard. Deep Space Nine, is it?
Which they've ruined as well with the new Picard series for the exact same reasons.
Yeah, I've heard. It's a shame.
But talking about I was talking about DC.
DC.
So yeah, Man of Steel thoughts. I didn't like it. I saw it with you. I kind of hated it. I was somewhat. I did find it kind of a bit of an issue, and I don't know. I felt like the film was just a bit too dire, and like it was so fucking serious and dark.
It definitely still is. Like, even though my opinions changed a little bit of it, I feel for Superman it was an odd choice.
Yeah, because Superman's one of the more optimistic, inspiring characters of like the comics universe.
Yeah. But yeah, he himself, great casting. You know, not even just him, like the villain himself. Is it Zod?
Yeah, it was played by Michael Shannon, who I liked, and minor spoilers. Like one of my issues with it, which is indeed some other people's issues as well, is Zod is killed at the end. Now he is kind of put into a situation, a really convoluted one, where if he doesn't kill Zod, Zod will kill even more innocent people. But you know, and obviously the kind of the drive behind that is you're challenging Superman, like the Boy Scout, to make like a horrible decision where you might not, you will crosses a line you just want to cross, and that's killing someone.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but I do feel like that's a kind of an element they probably should have introduced in a later film. Yeah,
not his introduction.
Yeah, because this is his introduction film. You should probably establish the fact that he is like
the Boy Scout.
He is the Boy Scout, and he does have very strong morals before you deconstruct that straight away.
Like, if something like that happened in Series 9 of Smallville, that would have felt better.
Yeah, it would have made sense. And, you know, it's part teenage drama, like, and especially in the early years of Smallville. But he does do the character very well, and there is points where he does cross lines, and there is points where he is challenged and has to deal with it.
Exactly. I think that there's a few elements in it as well, like even that end bit with Zod where he you know, spoilers, he breaks his neck, and the I-beam stops. Superman could have just covered his hand. Like, it's not going to go through his hand. Like, do you know what I mean? Or there's a bit where he could have saved his dad. Like, there's a tornado. His dad's like, I'm going to go to the car. It's like, literally, as he's saying the sentence, I'm going to go. He could have been and come back already. You know, he's Superman.
I'm probably gonna have to rewatch it again, but from what I remember, there was like no good reason he had to die either. Like it's something that would have been.
Yeah, was it like the dog was in the car? It was somebody, maybe a child, somebody else's child.
Maybe, but like it's as if he didn't even. I think he was played by Kevin Costner as well. Oh shit! What was his name? He's one of my favorite characters from Smallville as well. Well, not him, but you know, playing the same guy. Jonathan Kent.
Kent. Yeah.
Like there was like no reason for him to just die. It's as if he just kind of gave up and just said, "Oh well, I'm gonna die now. Don't save me, Clark."
Yeah, I want to die, Clark.
It's so weird.
I'm sick of having a freak for a son. Hell.
I mean, that would have been the wrong way to take it, but again, that would have at least been something to work with, I guess.
I guess. It's so weird. Oh, but I'm sure there was more. There was other bits in it where I remember thinking, well, Superman exists. He could have done that so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't remember all of them, to be honest.
No.
Oh.
Now I know there is like alternate cuts for a lot of these movies. Is there an alternate one from Man of Steel? I should probably check that.
I'm not sure, actually.
Because I have a feeling if there is, that'll probably be the preferred version, because that seems to be the theme with a lot of people who've seen both versions of like some of the other movies. Is, you know, you should always watch the special cut, because the thing is, studios tend to take their scissors to shit and tend to make things worse.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, all in all, it was just kind of I don't want to say fun film, because it wasn't. I don't like the Lois Lane. Everything we're saying about it is a negative. I still kind of like it.
Yeah. No, that's fine. To be honest, it's just I haven't actually seen it since 2013, so it probably is due a rewatch for me.
Yeah, I think he carries it well, though.
Yeah.
Cavill, I think he's really good. Martha, I didn't care for as well.
Martha.
Oh, which I'm sure we're going to get on there.
That's literally the next movie.
Is it actually? Oh God, I thought there was Wonder Woman in between.
No, Wonder Woman came after.
Odd.
Yeah,
especially with what happens in that movie.
They've really fucked up. Like the DCEU just makes no fucking sense.
Actually, because I know we're going to talk about it now. Then, so Batman v Superman, which in itself sounds like kind of a decent concept, except Superman is one. Like,
yeah,
you'd think anyway. But Ben Affleck as Batman, I'm sure everybody was as surprised as I was. He's really good. He's absolutely fine at it.
He got so much shit when he was announced.
All because of Daredevil, probably.
Maybe. Which shouldn't really count, you know, if you've got a film which was a fair bit of a failure in a complete other universe, why bring that up?
Exactly. And I liked Daredevil, to be honest. I'm alone in that, and I get that.
It's not like I haven't seen it. I saw the end of it for some reason. I think I must have caught it on TV when I was just flicking through channels. But it was like, it's like Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool, and people going, "Oh well, he shouldn't be playing Deadpool because he was also the Green Lantern." No smart person makes that argument.
Yeah. Or what about the guy who played Captain America?
Yeah.
Who was also the Human Torch. So it doesn't matter.
Utterly forgettable role in like an utterly forgettable film.
Yeah. Plus Green Lantern, I've not seen that. Apparently was a pile of shite. So
I have, unfortunately, and I would probably talk about it more now, but I also don't necessarily consider it part of this sort of wider universe as well.
Yeah. It's a bit before again, isn't it?
A little bit before, and yeah, I'd say it all kind of begins with Man of Steel, but you know, we'll go straight on to Batman versus Superman, and this is one of those movies where there are two cuts. There's the theatrical and there's the special cut. This was 2016 as well, so this was 2016, so that was 3 years after Man of Steel.
God, that I remember the ad campaign going on for a while. Like they were talking so much smack about Marvel with it. Like, oh, this is the one. This is the thing that everyone's been waiting for.
Nope.
Really? Yeah. Not quite.
But I know Zack Snyder's sort of original idea was to go like from Man of Steel to Man of Steel 2, like make a second Superman movie. Okay. But judging by like the performance, I'm guessing, of Man of Steel, the executives kind of wanted a complete change, and I think if you can say one thing about the DCEU, like one of the biggest factors in how messy it is like pure just executive meddling.
Yeah.
Because they kind of decided the course of things from there, and they decided instead of going to like Man of Steel 2 or making, you know, a Batman or a Wonder Woman movie first, they went straight into Batman versus Superman.
Just to confuse the hell out of everyone.
Yeah, and I mean, introduced Batfleck, who I like.
Batfleck, nice. I like that.
For some reason, introduced Wonder Woman in the same movie.
That's so weird at the end. Wait, I think it's just shrugged off. Like, I thought she was with you. No. Okay. Wow, that was that.
And don't get me wrong. She's actually pretty good in that film. She's one of the highlights of it. And I'm someone who was really like cynical about Gal Gadot being cast as Wonder Woman.
Yeah, because you're a huge Wonder Woman fan.
Yeah, slightly. Yeah, I'm a decent fan. I've got a plushie there actually. But
What of Gal?
one of my at least because there's obviously with DC there's a few different continuities you can follow. I mean, it's been rebooted 3 or 4 times as well.
Yeah.
The continuity I quite like, and the Wonder Woman comics I like, she tends to be like rather tall and somewhat muscular, as you would expect a warrior to be. And Gal Gadot just isn't. She's actually quite slender, quite small, and I was really cynical of that casting, yet she can actually pull it off somehow. I don't know if it's just her performance, but she can actually pull it off, and she's also like ex-Israeli military as well, so
yeah.
That might be a factor. So she did win me over, and she is one of the better things about Batman versus Superman. And you've obviously seen that film, haven't you? Like Batman.
Yeah, I saw the first time I saw that. I remember feeling as though it was a bit of a slog. And I actually watched it in 2 parts, but
yeah,
I don't like it.
No,
I'm sorry.
It's a weird mix of being both a slog and rushed.
Yeah, actually, yeah, because there's such a huge build-up to something that just doesn't happen.
Yeah, and like you introduce Lex Luthor.
Oh, and that piece of shit as well. Yeah, God.
Who is not Lex fucking Luthor.
No, I hate that actor so much.
Jesse Eisenberg, was it? Yeah.
Who thought? Oh yeah, Lex Luthor, this weedy little dweeb. Like,
yeah,
couldn't be further from it. I genuinely think if they got the guy who played Luthor in Smallville now, perfect. He's the old guy Lex. He's not even that old. Like, you'd be the perfect age for Lex Luthor now. Like, you've got it.
He's probably my favorite Lex, actually. if we're talking like on screen, yeah. Michael Rosebaum, I think. Mm-hmm. But, oh God, it's such a weird thing. And I remember mentioning on Facebook that I just watched Batman versus Superman and didn't like it. And one of my old work colleagues said, "Oh, you need to watch the special edition. It's like much better." And I did just watch the special edition. That was the version I saw, and I still didn't like it.
Oh right, oh God. What's the difference then? Because I don't know which version I've seen.
I haven't actually seen the original.
Oh,
so I can't
to know
really
the difference here.
I can't really say. I'm guessing there's probably just some extended scenes, maybe a few more scenes here and there. And yeah, I still didn't like it. And as I said, it was weirdly slow, yet weirdly rushed, because you've got this build-up for no good reason, to be honest, except Lex Luthor's just wanting Batman and Superman to kill each other. And Batman wants to defeat...
Yeah, he's the way he delivers his lines, where he's like, "Oh, Bruce Wayne and
Clark Kent,
meeting in the same room." It's like, well, do you know then? Because that would have been nice to show the audience that actually this guy's a bit more of a threat. No, he doesn't. He just said that for no reason.
No,
because he's a cunt. Sorry.
And what else? And this is just going all over. We're not like going terribly in depth in these movies. Just giving some more general thoughts. So you had Batman versus Superman, that's the big conflict, and then, out of nowhere, Doomsday.
Which in itself should have been at least a film or a 2-parter, because it's a big deal.
That should have been like film 4 or something, or 5.
Or Justice League, even. That is, you're looking at one of the most powerful and best villains in DC, in my opinion, again.
One of the most critical ones to like Superman's like history as well. Like Doomsday is the one that killed Superman.
Yeah, he's a huge threat, and he's a great idea. Like, you kill Doomsday, he comes back immune to the thing that killed him. Awesome.
And should have been his own film.
Oh, 100%.
Let's face it, not just the last 20 minutes of this whole other movie, which again should have been like the conflict between Batman and Superman, because obviously they were taking it from was it Dark Knight Returns?
Yeah.
That in itself should have been like years in the making, not like the second fucking movie of the new series.
And second fiddle to Batman versus Superman. It's like, no, right, okay, that's cool, but I would have much rather have watched Superman fight because you know what happens. And it's for me as a comic fan,
Yeah.
or if I mean, you don't even need to be a comic fan. You kind of know Doomsday is what's Doomsday. Like,
Yeah. Which I think is a nickname as well, if I'm remembering right. It's not like the actual character's name, it's just what he's referred to because he is the Doomsday of Superman.
yeah. But fuck, out of nowhere, as is the meme, so everybody already knows. Why did you say that name? Fuck me.
I don't know. It seems really weird. I would just mention my mother's name randomly at the time of death.
Maybe he's into it. I don't know. God. Because he's been sort of choked by Superman, isn't he? Like, I feel like this. I will. Like, you don't know who that is. You don't know he knows. Oh man, I don't know.
I guess it's just really fucking lucky that both their mothers had the same name.
And to be honest, that was the first time I realized that as well.
Yeah.
Like when they said it, I was like, oh yeah, that is lazy.
Like, you know, what if Batman's mother was named like Janet? It's like, save Martha. Okay.
Crack. Yeah. God. But no, there's not much redeeming, like, at all. Even the fight between Superman and Batman is, as you say, it's kind of rushed, so it's very short. Not much happens. I think there's like a couple of wall slams. Doomsday then interrupts them, and Wonder Woman just drops out of the sky for no reason.
With her theme, which keeps repeating.
I hate that theme. I like Wonder Woman of the DC, which I know we're going to go on to, of cinematic universe. That is the one redeeming factor, is Wonder Woman. Like, her film, again, we'll go into it soon, but I hate that theme so much. I don't know why. It just gets on my tits.
They replaced it later on, but I'll get on that in a moment.
Did they?
Yeah, so Batman vs Superman was 2016. Also 2016 was Suicide Squad.
Now that I've not seen, so...
I have. It's bad.
Yeah, that's why. I think the casting, again, is great. You've got Will Smith, good actor, as Deadshot. Cool, he's not a very well-known...
No, surprisingly good, though, actually. I kind of liked him as Deadshot.
Well, he's Will Smith's one of those people that he's hard to dislike.
He's got charisma.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
Perfect.
Can't think of anyone better. Even what's his face is the Joker. He's no.
It was it was Jared Leto.
Jared Leto. He's a good actor.
Theoretically, would have been a great Joker, but not what they did with him in that film.
That's the main problem with it. I think they got the great cast and then just completely fucked it. They dropped the ball entirely. Margot Robbie's not dressed at all like the original Harley Quinn. The Joker and Harley's relationships all over the fucking place. As far as I know.
And it is. And to be honest, it's mostly in bits of flashback and very few scenes. I seem to remember the build-up of the film, the Joker was being like pushed as a really major player in it. He's not.
Yeah. I honestly thought he was. Even now, like, I didn't, because I don't know much about it.
He's not the main villain. He like pops up every so often in either flashback or towards the end a little bit in the main story, but he plays virtually no part in events apart from like Harley Quinn's origin, which is different to like her traditionally established one as well.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff with that as well. Like Leto is method. He's a method actor apparently.
Yeah.
But that version of the Joker is so dislikable, even if you were to be method, that nobody liked him. Apparently, Will Smith will not enter a room with Jared Leto now.
For good reason, because I remember reading about this, among some of the things brought up is, as part of Jared Leto's method acting, he would like send dead animals and used condoms to other members of the cast to sort of...
Margot Robbie got used condoms.
To kind of put them on edge and make them uncomfortable and a bit wary of them. Which, considering he's not one of the main members of the cast either, it's like, where the fuck do you get off?
Yeah, you're a flashback character. Come on, man.
Yeah. Now, apparently, I think there may have actually been more shot with him, but was cut as well due to studio interference, which is arguably the biggest villain.
Yeah, it's a running theme with DC, it seems, though, as well.
Oh, absolutely. It's fucking nuts. Like, So I'd actually be kind of curious to see if there was going to be an original sort of a different alternate version of that, and it has been proposed and asked for, but DC, well, Warner Brothers have pretty much said no. We're
Apparently,
not going to see it.
the original, because the relationship between Joker and Harley in the actual version's different to what they wanted, and I think they shot a scene where at one point the Joker pushes Harley out of a helicopter in what they wanted to do, but what they end up doing was he did it to save her, which is so unlike the Joker.
I genuinely cannot remember. I remember that there is a helicopter.
Yeah, just because my partner saw it, and even she commented that was just a pile of shite, to be honest. So they can't even get that right, because what everybody seems to do since that movie now is they seem to lord over their relationship. It's not something that you need to be aspiring to. It is
people posting their pictures and their memes like relationship goals.
Yeah, he's my Harley. Yeah, she's my Harley. He's my Joker. Oh, really? I'm sorry.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, you're in trouble, aren't you? Shit. But no, I don't like Leto at all, to be honest. I think he's a good actor, but
not
his
in that
Joker,
movie.
Fuck me.
The
design was awful.
Not to digress too much, but you mentioned that thing about like the Harley and Joker relationship. I was going through Etsy last night for some reason. I was just looking for some maybe some merchandise to buy, or like if there was any cool little posters or something I could put up. Someone put a little framed Lego figure thing, which was like obviously it was supposed to be a cutesy couples decoration, and it was he's my Superman, she's my Supergirl, with like Lego Supergirl and Superman. I was just sitting there with my partners like, can you see what's wrong with this?
Because they don't know what they're saying, do they?
Yeah, I was wondering if the person who had created this little thing actually knows anything about the characters at all.
Jesus Christ. That's appalling.
Either that or they're from the deep south of the United States, and that thing's a bit more acceptable.
Oh, man. But no, I don't know why. No, I'm lost for words. Even like, I love Etsy.
I kind of do too. God, I wrote down like a lot of the budget, or the estimated budget and the earnings of these movies, like just before we came on. I don't know how like interesting it would have been. Man of Steel was considered a failure, which is why they didn't go with Man of Steel 2. Its estimated budget was like 225 million. Its estimated gross back, at least to this date, is like 668 million. So, yeah, it's a profit, but I think it also depends how much they put into like marketing as well.
Yeah, true.
And admittedly, I saw this on a Midnight's Edge video. I haven't actually checked it out myself, but before Man of Steel came out, executives were saying that they expected Man of Steel to make $1 billion.
Oh, yeah. I think they were expecting it to kick off a huge cinematic universe, as you say. And I think that's why there's so much studio involvement, because they're just desperately trying. It's like, okay, leave it to the creative people then.
Yeah.
Like, don't input so much, but they never learn, and they never will. So,
and in case you're interested, Batman versus the Batman Fight Superman movie. Its estimated budget was 250 million, and its profit was 873. So, bit better.
Probably because of marketing again, because that I remember hearing about that years before it came out.
Yeah,
like, that was annoying.
Also, if we're just talking like basic profitability, I really can't talk today. Suicide Squad.
You all right?
I can't talk. My fucking partner like mocks me all the time when I like mix up words, and apparently I can't say minimum.
But yeah, minimum.
But Suicide Squad's budget was 175 million, and the gross estimate back is actually 746. So that's actually weirdly profitable.
Wow, it's a good idea though. It's very much like oh my god, Guardians of the Galaxy. where they're kind of unsung a little bit, so that people are more interested
I mean,
because they can do.
it was
more with
directed
them.
by the same person, so
Yeah, James Gunn,
yeah.
is it?
So you could argue on the basis of it being a bit lower budget and actually having some decent earnings that might have been actually one of the bigger money makers. I'm just going off IMDb numbers here. Critically, its average score is like a 6.0, which is like lower than Man of Steel and BVS.
Mm. Mm.
So.
Yeah.
And I know most people kind of really just dislike the movie, myself included. It's like I saw it fairly recently, and I was charmed and impressed by Will Smith, and even Margot Robbie isn't that bad.
Yeah, I hear she's a saving, like those two specifically.
God. I don't know. Yeah. I can't remember the actress who they got to play Amanda Waller though. She was actually really fucking good.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, everyone else was forgettable. I mean, even Jai Courtney, who played Captain Boomerang, he's like an actor I like, although I probably just like him because he was in Spartacus. But yeah, kind of a nothing character.
Yeah, apparently there was a lot going on though, and they spent a lot of time going through the origins. I've not seen it though, so
yeah. The first, I heard the criticism that it was kind of cut a lot like a music video, and it honestly was. Like the first good chunk of the movie is just every single character's background, except I forgot what his fucking name was, but the guy whose special ability is climb anything. They didn't go into his background, and well, we know why. It's because he gets fucking killed like 10 minutes into his appearance.
Fair enough. No.
So it's a bit of a telegraph there, but yeah. But apparently, especially with the Snyder cut recently, David Ayer, who I think might have been the producer on Suicide Squad, has also like brought up the possibility of using some of the original cuts of that because apparently it's a bit different as well, and I'd be kind of curious, but as I said, Warner Brothers have just flat out said no.
Yeah. Trying to think what came next. Would it have been Wonder Woman?
I've got it down, yeah. Yeah, so 2 movies came out in 2017. Let's talk about Wonder Woman. I'd argue it's probably the best of the standalone.
Oh, I absolutely agree. Yeah. And I think its strength is because it doesn't. Oddly, it changes something that is very iconic about Wonder Woman, which is that originally it was set in World War II, but this is set in World War One.
Well, kind of. It's a bit complex. I can't remember exactly. I think the very original one may have been around World War II, because that's honestly when the comic was running in the 40s, if I believe. They did reboot it after Crisis of Infinite Earths in the 80s with a similar story, but then it was a Cold War setting, which is the continuity that I prefer. And then in the movie, they've kind of changed it again to World War One, and again, I was being very cynical, even though I am a fan of the character. I was like, I don't know about this. Kind of felt like it was aping Captain America, which it kind of was.
Yeah, well, yeah, I get that. Although he was World War II.
Yeah,
so
but there is
at least.
But there is parts. There's like a part in Wonder Woman where, for a time, she has her own ensemble cast of misfit soldiers.
Yeah.
Just like Captain America does.
Yeah. But she carries it. She's so like charming and
sincere as well.
Yeah.
And
God,
honestly, like they did the Amazons like pretty well as well, and not to get like super geeky and way too much into Wonder Woman lore. They kind of follow the continuity they've kind of established since the New 52, and that like Diana herself, Wonder Woman, is like a daughter of Zeus. I don't like that continuity myself, and it's not one that she originally had necessarily.
Yeah.
Like, she was special and she was powerful, but she wasn't like that much more above the other Amazons that were all kind of on a fairly equal.
She's essentially Thor now, then. Basically.
Yeah, she's essentially like a goddess, and
yeah,
I kind of don't like that. But I think it's just I'm not particularly impressed with overpowered superheroes, which is a bit strange because I do like Superman, but Superman's arguably more of an ideal than he is a character.
Exactly. Yeah.
Unless you kind of build him up really well, like in Smallville, for instance.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you give him like a background and realize like his strength and his weakness, other people around him.
No. I think the action on Wonder Woman was quite nice as well. Like there's a bit where there's a Gatling gun just firing down on it,
Yes.
and it's just there's a lot of slow mo in it, but I think it actually lends to the film rather than ruins it, in my opinion, anyway.
I quite like what they did with it being the World War One setting, because in those scenes when she is like on the Western Front, the colors are just really dull and muted.
Yeah, they're very grey. Oh, it's lovely.
As opposed to like Themyscira, like in the early part of the movie, like the island she's from, where everything's just very vibrant and colourful, and then, you know, there's the juxtaposition between this paradise island and like man's world, as it was often referred to as, just like destruction and death.
Oh man.
And Chris Pine, even though I really hate the Star Trek movies, and he's Kirk in those, Chris Pine himself is actually quite charming and charismatic and other things, and he is in this as well as Steve Trevor.
He's a good actor. Like he's honestly fine.
And I'm not.
I don't blame people for some shit films like the guy Robert Pattinson who's playing the new Batman. Give him a chance. People really jump down his throat straight away. It's like it looks good.
I've enjoyed him in interviews because he's actually very critical and very snarky about his Twilight days, and it's kind of fun.
Is he?
To be honest, I think anyone who like judges people based on like a movie or something like they're being are just really fucking stupid.
It's the same people that send death threats to Kurt Russell's son for a role he's playing.
Or, threats to like Daisy Ridley and her partner because they're not fucking, because it's not like Kylo Ren and Rey.
Oh, yeah. Lame.
Fucking lunatics. But yeah, Wonder Woman, I mean, if we're talking budget again, I think that was a bit of a higher budget. Actually, no, not by that much. Apparently, the estimated budget was like 149 million. Its profit was 822 million, so that's actually pretty fucking good compared to like Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, definitely.
It's also got a 7.4 rating on IMDb, so that's actually the highest one so far from what we've mentioned, and totally agree. The only thing I kind of don't like about the film that much is like, the daughter of Zeus shit. But that was a thing in the comics, so to be honest, I'm not going to hold that against it because it was still kind of, it was going off established continuity. It's just a personal preference that I don't like that.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So I'm not going to hold that against it. And the third act really fell into a cliche of big CGI battle with CGI enemy.
You could say that about any superhero film, though. Even Avengers, like though it's a good film, CGI battles are just kind of eye-rolling now.
Yeah, you can, but this might make a more boring movie. But it was also kind of disappointing because I think one of the main comics it seems to take inspiration from was like her origin story that was in the 80s after the reboot. And her battle with Ares in that doesn't end with her killing Ares. It kind of ends with her showing the error of his ways, and that might sound like really cheesy and idealistic, but it actually kind of works in the comic because one of her powers is truth.
Yeah.
And she kind of diffuses the situation, but with a threat to the future rather than just an out-and-out fight.
So it's kind of more character-driven than...
Exactly. Fair enough, that might not translate well to like a superhero movie on screen, but it's definitely more of a character thing, and whereas just out-and-out fighting isn't. But that's just me as a fan of the character being a bit whiny.
No, I agree though. If they wanted to stand out, which it does in terms of DC movies, but compared to Marvel films, it kind of fits in with them. If you know what I mean. So it's as good as a good Marvel movie, rather than something that really stood out, and that would have elevated it probably, which is a shame. No, it is good.
We're not going to go too far into detail, and that's probably about as much as I'm going to say on it. I do enjoy the movie. Some problems I have with it, mostly the third act, to be honest.
A lot of people agree, and I do. I definitely agree.
It's got the first two acts are fucking great.
Yeah.
Also, 2017. I'm not going to talk too much about this because it's going to kind of come up later. But we had the Justice League movie. It's sometimes referred to as now the Justice League.
Nice.
Because this is the version that was retooled by Joss Whedon and the version that was released theatrically.
I remember everybody as well thinking, oh, excellent, Joss Whedon's taking the helm. It's going to be fun. It's going to be like the Avengers. I'm so happy they've gotten rid of Snyder. Okay.
Yeah, that was actually one of the fucking problems, is they did try and make it more like the Avengers, where it just didn't match the fucking tone of the rest of the universe or even the movie.
Every quip, every Whedonism in it, you die a little inside. There's a bit, because I don't like Aquaman as a character, and I don't like the actor who plays him that much anyway. But there's a bit where, I think I mentioned last episode, I'm sorry, where Bruce Wayne's driving around in his car towards another CGI battle. Aquaman jumps down and then just makes a quip about the car. And it's like, you literally, and it would have been an awesome scene otherwise, because CGI battles are kind of cool sometimes, especially in that situation. They're literally about to have this totally awesome fight. He lands, actually looks cool for a change, and then a Whedonism. Well, that fucked any sort of mood you were trying to build in.
Well, tension and a moment of triumph, dead.
Yeah.
So you've seen the Whedon cut, yeah?
I have, yeah.
So have I, again, fairly recently, and I don't know if it was just one of those things, because I've found this with some really bad movies, is I hear how bad they are for so long, it kind of builds up a bad expectation in my head, but then when I see them, it's not as bad as my expectation. So I saw it and I thought, it's not good, but it's okay.
Yeah. Absolutely same. Absolutely. I only saw it last year at the start of the first lockdown. I thought, I'll watch this. I've not seen it, and I heard so much shit about it. My main complaint is the Whedonisms, but after that, it's maybe Cavill's moustache.
Yeah, it just the Whedonisms as well. It's tonally just really weird, cause
it's so jarring, isn't it? Like,
I mean, whether you like it or love it, like Zack Snyder's other two movies in the series before this were like quite serious, and you just have like little quips and little jokes and little awkward moments. Yeah. It just doesn't fucking mesh.
No. And there's some nice scenes though, like the fight when Superman does appear again. I thought it was great when he gets out and they're all having a fight with
definitely the highlight.
Yeah, it's cool. And the bit where the Flash is running and everything's slowed down, which I always like that when they've got a super speed character. And then he just turns at normal speed and it's like, that's totally badass.
It's like, you're fucked.
Yeah, but it's his face as well, because Cavill's actually a decent actor as well. A lot of people say he's wooden.
No, he's not.
It's like the snarl he gives as he turns. It's just like, you're in trouble, dude.
Yeah, because he'd literally just been resurrected from the dead, didn't know what was going on, and there's these four heroes, and one of them almost seems to unprovokedly attack him.
And one of them, last time they met, had a huge fight with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a bit out of it. So the budget for this anyway was 300 million, which is the largest one so far of the films mentioned. Part of the reason for that is, and again, I heard this on Midnight's Edge, and I haven't checked it out myself, but it's probably right, is they spent about 100 million in the reshoots.
So that's worth it then.
So that's probably contributed to it, and it made back like 657 million,
which is a loss technically for them, because marketing and things.
Marketing and God, I don't even know if that budget though of 300 million even includes the reshoots. Like, if it doesn't, then that is a huge disparity there.
Yeah, definitely. Christ.
And I don't know if you know too much of the reasons why that happens. To be honest, the reasons I think are a bit murky, and I don't think it's never been definitively stated by any main party, because they were a bit disappointed about the previous movies, the executives, so I think they did want to introduce a bit more Marvel-style humor and things rather than being so serious. And then, of course, at the same time, tragically for the Snyder family, his daughter Autumn died.
Oh, right.
So that was personal tragedy for Zack Snyder, and he did cite that as one of his reasons for leaving the production, which was mostly finished, by the way. Whether or not that was the whole reason, or whether or not it was just sort of a convenient reason, we actually still don't really know about it.
That's a shame. But I'm sorry for his loss, obviously, but
no, that's just family tragedy. Yeah, it's definitely a big thing. But then, it's not just Joss Whedon added a few scenes. It's whole scenes were reshot, whole scenes were rewritten. The reason Cavill looks so fucking weird and he has a weird CGI mouth in it is because they brought him back for reshoots when he was in contract with another movie and had to have a beard, like a mustache.
Yeah. Where I imagine then, because I know you're going to talk about it soon, the
Yeah.
original cut. Does that not actually occur at all?
No,
in it?
no, because that's all from the reshoots, and people pointed out, because of the reshoots as well. This was like after Ben Affleck had some of his projects cancelled. Ben Affleck was also going through a divorce at the time, had been drinking, had let himself go. So like Ben Affleck as Batman in it is also a bit tubbier.
I noticed that.
And a lot less enthused. And again, it's because that's what was the reshoots at the time. That's what he was going through. And God, and just the awkward fucking humor. And I seem to remember one where fucking the Flash falls on Wonder Woman's chest and is like, hoo, awkward. And it just fucking ruins it. And they had the main character as like Steppenwolf as well, who's okay, he's not one of the main DC villains. He is kind of a part of that villain group, I guess, related to Darkseid. But fucking loads of background shit happened in that movie, like executive meddling. I think Zack's original idea was it was going to be 2 movies for one. Like
that should have been, probably.
It should have been. Now, that was nixed, so he then had to force it into 1 movie, which probably cost a lot and, like, caused just huge amount of changes in the production. And then there was the thing of it actually being, like, taken over by Joss and, like, Zack having to leave and having it all redone. It was just absolute fucking mess. And kind of reflects on the 6.2 average audience score on it, which is... again, also like the lowest one so far of the films mentioned.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't think it was terrible, but I also had like the low expectations just really at the forefront of my brain, so I think I was expecting a tragedy and just saw a whimper instead.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the same.
Yeah, I like Cavill's bits, weird face and all, but still.
Yeah. Those bits were great.
So that was pretty much it for 2017. Now, unless I'm really missing something, I don't really think anything else happened in 2018.
No,
it's possible I am missing something, but like the fucking DC cinematic universe it's almost wrong to call it that because the movies, unlike the Marvel ones, are just so fucking disconnected from each other. They're not like a coherent universe.
Yeah, they're very mixed up.
But let's go 2019. We've got Shazam, which I wanted to see, but still for some reason haven't.
I'm same actually, and I hear that's actually quite good.
Yeah, it's got Zachary Levi as the star, who I like, and the character himself. I've seen him a little bit in comics that I've read, and I know a bit about him. He's quite a fun character.
Yeah, and
it was definitely going for like the out and out more of a humorous angle, but like unlike Justice League, it wasn't like a humorous rewrite. It was originally supposed to be going for a lighter tone.
Yeah, his costume looks spot on as well.
Yeah, so I was looking forward to seeing that. Didn't see it, so honestly I can't really say anything about it.
Same. I will watch it though.
Oh no, definitely. There was an option to watch it recently, which I kind of missed, which I probably should have took advantage of. But the budget for that one was like 100 million.
Okay.
Can I just mention this? Why are movies so fucking expensive these days?
I know. It'll be the CG probably, I think. God, more so.
Even that though, I swear if you just have like some sensible people in charge, you could probably really cut the cost of some of these fucking movies. But 100 million budget, estimated gross earnings so far 365, so it's not a huge profit.
Yeah.
But at the
he's
same
quite
time,
unheard of though, isn't he?
Like, but at the same time though, for the budget, it's not as like a dramatic as a hit probably.
Yeah, and well, the triple profits. So
yeah, and something that was pointed out as well, especially with the reshoots for Justice League, is 100 million on reshoots. Even if they went with the Snyder cut and the audience reaction was the same, it would have done better just purely because they didn't have the extra 100 million and fucking thrown away money.
Yeah. I think a lot of them wear that as a badge of honor almost. Like if they don't spend that much money, then it must be a terrible film.
Yeah.
So they just piss money wherever they can, probably, which is just irritating.
I might be getting the numbers wrong, but I remember James Cameron's Titanic. It made the news before its release because at the time it was the most expensive movie made, and I don't know if it might have been 200 million or something.
Yeah. And that's a light budget now. Like,
I mean, it's nothing to sneeze at, but like comparative to like again Justice League, 300 million, and I think I don't have the numbers off my top of my head, but I think Avengers Endgame was also like a lot, but it also made that back in droves, so
yeah,
it's not so much an issue. So yeah, that's about as much as I can say about Shazam. It's got a 7 average rating on IMDb, so it's definitely up among the better ones. But here's a good one. 2019, we got Joker.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what you mean with the cinematic universe. It's a bloody mess because where does that fit?
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's its own film.
Considering there's also another Joker who's appeared played by someone else and clearly cannot be the same character.
Yeah. I love that movie though. Like I think it's won awards and things, so I'm assuming that this is going to have been made relatively cheap compared to some of them.
It is the cheapest one on this list. It was 55 million.
Well, like that, you see, that shows you its quality rather than quantity, I guess, of the amount of money that they're spending.
In this is probably going to sting the executives considering their plans for Man of Steel. But unlike the other ones, this movie actually did hit over $1 billion.
Nice. Wow. Okay.
Profits back.
So yeah, I kind of hope they do a sequel. I really do, but I don't want them to answer any questions. Just leave it the way it is. And if he turns out to be the Joker with the new Batman, I'd be happy.
I'm in kind of two minds about it. Because again, I really love the movie, but I also don't want to risk like a sequel ruining it. We'll see. Yeah. I think more out of all the films mentioned, that one definitely feels like the most separate, like a complete other universe.
Well, I didn't even consider it, and it's one of my of recent years' favorite films, definitely.
Yeah,
I didn't even consider it in the DC universe. Even I even said before, I'm sure that Wonder Woman's the best. It's not. Joker is.
No, if we're comparing that, I think Joker is a better movie, and I remember
just watch it if you've not seen it. It's so good.
You probably like if anyone's watching this, they're probably watching on the Johnny Come Lately's podcast channel. If you look at some of the older episodes, don't necessarily recommend them, but again, views are nice. We do mention like 2 or 3 years ago, some of the initial press in the lead up to it. Like I think before anything's even filmed, I think I mentioned an article where it was mentioned that Joaquin Phoenix is going to be playing an older Joker, and I think then at the time I even mentioned, well, that could be interesting because he is an actor I like.
Yeah. I remember twisting my face at it, to be honest, even thinking, it's a standalone film. What's this about? Why do that? Blew me out of the water. I loved it. I thought it was great.
And it's weird because, it's the Joker, possibly the most recognizable of all DC villains.
Comic villains?
Yeah,
in general.
In general. Yet you can totally just divorce the movie from the universe if you wanted to and just watch it as a fucking standalone film.
That's why it's good, in my opinion. Yeah.
Again, it definitely made back its fucking budget and some.
Yeah. And it deserved the awards it got as well. Like,
it won awards, and minor spoiler, it's the highest rated of all the current DCEU films. It's 8.4 average, which I'd say is right.
Lower than I thought, to be honest. I would have had it at a 9.
I don't know, because I think personally, that's probably about right for me, because I do love the film. I don't think it's like perfect.
Yeah.
There is some parts I have like some issue with, but no, I'm really glad I saw that in the cinema, and as soon as it became like DVD available, I like snapped it.
I tend not to buy DVDs new. I bought that one new, and we went to see that twice. Even I enjoyed it.
And God, do you remember the fucking press?
Oh yeah.
It's
dangerous.
They were practically begging for someone to shoot up a theater.
Yeah.
Because it's a toxic character and it's problematic.
Watch the film. It's really not. In a way, yeah. But that's why it's a good film as well, because none of that shit's in it as well.
Yeah.
They tried their hardest to inject it in from an outsider perspective, like the media itself trying to inject themselves into it. But yeah.
God, I think what was really funny though is during the sort of scare about how theaters are going to get shot up and people are going to die because of the Joker movie. The only reported incident of violence at the time was a machete attack during Frozen 2.
Well, that's fair. Christ. I'm trying to think. What was there any other film after that? Then?
Yeah,
DC,
there was. Do you know what? I forgot. I actually forgot to write it down. But Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I haven't seen it. Looked like garbage. Is garbage from just about everyone I've heard.
Yeah. Again, wasted Margot Robbie because she's perfect for the part. Like, given a good writer, excellent. Yes.
I'm not like the biggest fan. Well, no, I just don't know that much about Birds of Prey. I have read some of the Birds of Prey comics, which are quite good. And the main one that comes to mind actually did feature the Joker as a guest star. But even like what little exposure I did have to it and what I do know about the universe, like even I was somewhat mildly offended by what I saw.
No, have
like
you seen
in the
the
lead
film?
up the movie, because Harley Quinn is not a part of that ensemble at all.
Yeah.
It's
Oracle and
yeah, and it did this weird thing of again kind of forcing a sense of diversity on the cast by, changing the race of Black Canary and was it also Cassandra as well? Like her character was completely changed. She doesn't resemble Cassandra of the comics in any way.
Oh.
But what's really funny is they kind of pushed that kind of diversity, yet removed the disabled character.
It was great, Oracle. I mean, you would need to do a movie that would explain Oracle probably before doing that, but I would have probably preferred that,
but
like a Killing Joke movie, over a Birds of Prey movie. To be honest with you,
how can you possibly make a Birds of Prey movie without the key founding member, former Batgirl, current Oracle, Barbara Gordon?
It's just not Birds of Prey. Then it's a Harley Quinn film with a different title,
with some characters who are in name only.
Just call it Harley Quinn. More people would probably want to say it if it was just called Harley Quinn.
Well, they did actually, because the original title was what I said there. I believe it was like Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn, because that title just rolls off the fucking tongue. That's what it was, but then a few weeks I think it was a couple of weeks in from it being released, they actually changed the title to Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey.
Oh, well.
Probably in a very desperate attempt to get more audience and people talking about it.
Yeah.
Now, I can't judge it too much because I haven't seen it. I can just kind of judge from what I have seen, and
the trailer is piss poor.
Bullshit.
Like, really boring, yeah. I have no intention of saying it though. That's the worst part, because I really do like Margot Robbie as an actress. She's great, and again, she's perfect for the part. But no, it just looks boring.
I like Barbara Gordon as well, just as the character, like Oracle, and it just blows my fucking mind how they didn't have that, especially if they're trying to score diversity points. Have the disabled superhero in.
It would have been nice if, imagine a Joaquin Phoenix bloody Killing Joke.
Yes.
With Barbara Gordon. That would be heart wrenching. And it fits his character to a bloody T as well. Oh man.
Yeah, fuck it.
Wasted
I haven't
opportunities.
Seen it. I might see it if it is free and available at some point. I don't want to, but I feel like I kind of have to, just for curiosity's sake.
Yeah, I might do the same just for that reason.
I'll probably watch all of them at some point, but yeah, I'm not. Yeah. I don't feel like I'm missing anything, and yeah, I think I'd rather just stick with the comics I've read, and even seek out some of the other good titles from the series, because I have enjoyed what I have read anyway. But
yeah, exactly.
Christ's sake, and it also seemed to be somewhat of a vanity project for Margot Robbie. It seems.
Yeah,
because Margot Robbie really does like the character, and I understand that, but she's got nothing to do with Birds of Prey. You could have done. I heard someone argue you should have just made like a Gotham City Sirens movie with Harley Quinn.
Would have been much better and probably more fun to watch. You would need to establish Oracle because she founded it, as you're saying. To not have her in it at all, it's just not Birds of Prey, then, is it?
And after like Batman and let's say Dick Grayson, she's probably like the most key member of the Bat family.
Yeah. No. Was there any other films after that? Was that the last one?
Well, if there is, I've missed it. Hello, this is Future Drew. Just realised after recording and after Matt had already left to do other things that there was actually 2 DC movies we forgot to talk about. And I don't know if that says more about us or sort of the just really weird, disjointed nature of the DC universe, but here we go. I'll have a quick mention of them now. Now, I do know Matt has not seen these movies either, and, we both haven't seen them, basically, and I'll have a quick mention. So, first film that we haven't seen is Aquaman 2018 with Jason Momoa. It has a 6.9 on IMDb, which, from what I've heard, sounds about right. Not exactly the best movie of all time, but I have heard people saying, although it's not like, objectively a good film, that they did have a lot of fun watching it, and I do kind of get that impression myself from, like, the trailers and things. Now, of course, Amber Heard's in it, so whether or not that affects your enjoyment might be another thing. But let's have a quick check of the stats, since I did bring up some of the statistics for the other movies. So, let's have a look here. So, budget of Aquaman estimated was $160 million, which, although a lot of money, is actually one of the slightly cheaper ones of the DCEU. Had a budget gross of, it had a worldwide gross of, over $1 billion again, $1,148,000,000. So that actually makes it one of the more successful ones as well. So I think good on you there. And I'm kind of looking forward to seeing that one. And Aquaman is one of those comic characters that I'm aware of, and he's featured in some of the series that I've read, but I've never really read just a straight up Aquaman comic. So maybe that is something worth looking in. I do, of course, recognize Black Manta, and Black Manta has like a very distinct look and is pretty much like the iconic Aquaman villain, if you could say that. But I've heard some interesting things about it, and having a quick look through the cast, I noticed Tamura Morrison's in it, and I do like him, so that'll be quite interesting to see. Oh, and Dolph Lundgren, and yeah, actually there's a lot of people I like in this, so let's not go on. I haven't seen it. I am looking forward to seeing it, and I might even see it before next episode because it is currently available on Amazon. Now, the other movie that I haven't seen, which might surprise people given what I said about the previous one, is Wonder Woman 1984 from 2020, kind of the end of 2020. I believe it was available over Christmas on some streaming services. Yep, not seen it, and quite frankly, I'm not too eager to either. Everything I've seen about it just looks very frustrating and disappointing from some of the reviews that I've heard, some of the previews, and just what I know about it myself without having actually seen it. Did mention I am like a bit of a Wonder Woman fan. I've got a Funko Pop here. This is the Wonder Woman from the 2017 movie, but it's still fairly comic accurate, pretty solid. I was kind of looking forward to this during some of the early buzz about it. Even when they announced Kristen Wiig was going to be playing Barbara Minerva, aka the Cheater, I was quite okay with that casting choice because, a lot of people don't like her, and she is more known as a comedic actress, and especially if you're not a fan of Ghostbusters 2016, you might not be particularly enthused about seeing her on screen. One, I actually don't hate that movie, and that'll probably lose me a lot of credit with some people. And two, I have seen her in dramatic roles as well. In fact, one of my favourite movies of all time will also lose me some credit here, is Ben Stiller's The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. And although it's not like a straight up, I wouldn't say it's like a dramatic or drama film, Kristen Wiig does play a more sort of straight-laced sort of character in that. She's not really a comedic role in it. And that's, I really like her in that. And what kind of breaks my heart a little bit is what I do know about her character in this movie and the cheater is it's just not the comic book cheater at all. Like, who she is as a character, like, she's not an archaeologist, she's not an explorer. How she becomes the cheater, I know it's just completely different as well. There's no occult, no blood sacrifice, no racially insensitive sidekick, depending which version of the comics you go with. Like, none of that is in it, and it's like, I get that liberties are taken. Like, liberties were taken with Heather Candy and Steve Trevor in the previous movie, and although their origins aren't like exactly the same, especially during like given a different time period, the characters at least spiritually seem to embody like their comic book counterparts a lot more, like personality wise at least, of both Steve Trevor and Heather in those films. Likewise, Maxwell Lord, although I haven't read as much with him in, like, some of the wider DC Universe stuff, I do, of course, know the character, especially when it comes to Wonder Woman, because there was a very significant event happened before Infinite Crisis involving Maxwell Lord and certain action that Wonder Woman had to take in order to, like, resolve the situation. So I do know a little bit about him, and as much as I like Pedro Pascal as an actor, despite some things he may say on occasion, again, the character is basically Maxwell Lord in name only. Does not resemble his comic book counterpart at all in some ways, and what can I say? And the whole plot about the wishing stone seems so strange and silly, and that's not even to mention the controversy with the Steve Trevor stuff in this film with the resurrected Chris Pine. Some of the really unfortunate implications with him and Diana, and one or 2 points in that. But yeah, I'm just not all interested in seeing Wonder Woman 1984. But definitely want to see Aquaman, so I might even like watch that before the next recording. But yeah, I thought I'd better throw this in very quickly before it's mentioned in the comments by all 3 of you subscribers at the moment. So back to past Monodrew and Cambrian. Until it comes to, well, this year and the tale of the Snyder Cut, which
yes,
probably should have started talking about earlier, but we do go on a little. Do you know much about the background to it? I mean, I did mention a bit about the background about the reshoots and things.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
For a few years, there have been like fans and people asking about, well, what about the reshoots? Like, what existed before? Can we see that? And Warner Brothers for a while, like, actually flat out denied that footage existed.
Oh, really?
And it became a bit of a meme in itself, and a bit of a trend for people to say, like, release the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
It got to the point where a lot of the established comic book media were actively mocking people. And quite infamously, I think this was from last year, I forget what it is, I think it's a Harley Quinn animated series, which was quite popular. They presented like a nerdy character who was obviously supposed to be in the wrong with a Release the Snyder Cut t-shirt as like a mocking thing. And it was just getting basically bullshitted on by everyone, like Warner Brothers and a lot of the mainstream critics alike. But then, I don't know, I guess AT&T, who kind of is the one really in charge, kind of figured there might be something to it, and they got in touch with Zack Snyder, they give him money, got a lot of the old gang back together, and they actually... This fucking blows my mind now. I can't believe they actually did it.
Yeah.
They went back to a failed movie and allowed, like, a somewhat slightly controversial director to actually finish his vision of the movie. So basically, all the shit Whedon filmed was basically cut out.
Yeah.
The original scenes were put in. It's not entirely original. Like, there's some contention whether or not you could call it the Snyder's original version, because some of it has been added in as, like, ways to, like, link up to scenes and to establish the universe a bit better. But yeah, that got released. Not in the cinema, of course, because we're in the age of COVID, and I'm not sure if they would have necessarily released it in the cinema anyway.
Yeah.
They did put quite a bit of money in it. It got released in the United States on HBO Max, and it got released in this currently on Now TV.
Yeah.
which was mildly irritating because I didn't have Now TV.
Yeah.
I would have thought of anything, perhaps they would put it on Amazon, because even if they were going to like sell it to people, I would have been willing to like pay for the rental.
Yeah.
And I think it probably would have reached more people. But I think Now TV actually are basically the UK version of HBO Max, so maybe that's why.
Yeah.
So so fucking crazy. They actually released the movie, and I got Now TV for a week free trial.
Nice.
Cancel it straight after. To be honest, if there was more decent shit on there, I probably would have kept it for at least a month. But there really isn't.
There's just nothing on it. Yeah, I had it for ages.
But so I've seen it myself. I was actually somewhat slightly involved in the lead up to it as well, in a very minor way. Not so much in the production, but they do with a lot of the hype, because before it was released over here, Zack Snyder actually was involved in kind of involved. There was a big fundraiser for a lot of YouTubers who were like really passionate about releasing the Snyder cut, and they got Zack Snyder and some of the other members of like the production involved. There was a YouTube live stream with like various people. Some of them I even follow and they managed to get Zack Snyder to show up on the live stream on YouTube to kind of take part and stuff.
Oh, wow.
It was all for charity. They raised millions of dollars for a suicide charity, which is kind of, what was responsible for the passing of his daughter.
Yeah.
So they managed to get him on a live stream. The guy playing Darkseid in the film on the live stream as well. And I watched it live myself when he was on it. And I contributed to the charity as well. So in a very small way, I'm slightly attached to events.
Oh, that's nice though.
At least in a way as like a participant. And then there's a bit of controversy over that. I'm not sure if I really want to talk about it too much. Let's just say there was still some politicking. There's still some political stuff going on where the first thing Zack Snyder said on the live stream was he disavows himself from Geeks and Gamers, who was one of the entities behind the live stream.
Yeah,
and someone who I follow, which seemed a bit of a shitty thing, and that even got my like partner who was kind of watching the live stream with me like double back. It's like, wait, why'd you say that?
Yeah,
bearing in mind they don't know the background of this, and even I myself was like really stumped by that, and was like, I don't know. But he said he disavows from that. He doesn't avow with hate. To be very simply, Geeks and Gamers are often accused of being haters a lot, and there's some members of the team who do kind of go a bit hard on things, but they're not politically. They're not one way or another. They've got people on the left and the right who is part of the entity. So
yeah, which is fair.
But yeah, minor controversy. It was just it just stumped me a little bit when I saw it. If any of you are interested, you can easily search it on YouTube because there's various videos on the subject. Let's just get back to the films.
Yeah, fair. But yeah, like you were saying, it seems to be a vast improvement as well. The villain and things look better.
Holy shit, it is a vast improvement.
Is it like that much better? Damn.
It's not a perfect film. Some people have been really singing its praises, and have watched it multiple times. It's a 4-hour fucking movie. I'm not going to do that.
Oh god.
I just saw it the once. That was good enough. My partner enjoyed it as well, and bearing in mind they have no attachment to the DC universe.
Yeah.
And it's not perfect. It is such a vast improvement though on like the Justice verse, let's just say.
Justice.
If I'm gonna criticize it, it's 4 hours. It is a bit too long.
That seems to be my main reason for not having seen it yet, to be honest.
It's a bit long, and Zack Snyder, he does have a very good visual eye. I actually don't like a good chunk of a few of his films, but he is a very visual director and does some interesting things. But he's also really fucking in love with slow motion.
Yeah.
And there's bits where it's applicable, like flash scenes, because he's in the Speed Force and everything else is slow to him. That works. But then there's also bits where it's just like really extended slow-mo, where if they just cut it out, the film probably would have been about 20 minutes quicker.
Yeah, damn.
And because this is his cut of the film as well, he's essentially in charge. I feel like there's probably just no one really reining him in, where honestly they probably could have. And as thankful as I am for a lot of the extra scenes, a lot of the extended stuff, honestly, if I was an editor, there is shit I would have cut out.
Yeah, but they seem a bit begrudged to take anything out now
No,
since they have already done that. So,
and again, if we're comparing the two, I will take this version of the film over the original theatrical cut any fucking day.
oh, nice.
And,
well, I'll have to watch it.
And at least just to support the cause as well, because one of the things was, it was very fan-driven. It was actual audience and actual fans that were really like driving for this to be released and really supporting it.
Yeah.
So if anything else, it also kind of feels like a bit of a vindication of the fandom.
Yeah.
And considering what a lot of fucking studios feel about their audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was kind of the nice thing about it. God, I don't know where to start. Again, yeah, it's a bit too long. There's definitely shit I'd cut out. Definite improvement, though, on nearly every level.
Mm.
In the theatrical cut, you barely get to spend any time with the Flash or Cyborg.
Mm.
They seem very kind of honed, like just forced in.
Side, yeah.
You get to establish the Flash's character. There was not too much to it right away, but there's a good scene which is also called a controversy where he saves Iris West.
All right, okay.
At the beginning of the movie in slow motion, there's like a car accident. He kind of goes in, picks her up, puts her to safety, steals a hot dog that was floating in the air. And there's a bit where he kind of just gently moves like the hair out of her face because, appreciating this, this female he obviously really likes, and, they do get married in the continuity. Puts her aside. Apparently that scene was problematic because he didn't ask her consent or something to save her life and brush her hair aside. So some people were bitching about that, but whatever.
Well, yeah.
Cyborg, weirdly enough, is probably the main character of the movie.
Oh, really?
Damn. Yeah. You get basically his whole background, his motivation, what makes him a conflicted character, why he has an antagonistic relationship with his father, all of that. Which was not in the Whedon cut at all.
Yeah, he's very side in the Whedon one.
No, you actually give a shit, and he honestly is like probably one of the central characters and real key player in the events. What we touched on earlier, since we're not dealing with the reshoot, Ben Affleck as Batman is no longer like defeated and chubby looking.
Chubby, yeah.
He's actually in good shape. And is completely involved in all events. There's no Whedonism, so he's not making uncharacteristically un-Batman-like quips and jokes and awkward stuttering. He's actually, the serious leader who Batman is. Even though he does have his little moments of comedy. There isn't too much more added to Superman, to be honest. I mean, except obviously they're going with the original cut, so there's no stupid fucking CG face.
Yeah, fair. That's good.
That helps. And I don't know if this was in the original cut or if this is one of the additions. They present him in the black Superman suit.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Which I didn't think I would miss, but I actually really fucking like it.
Yeah, yeah.
It just looks very cool, and I don't want to go like way too into it because I don't want to like spoil a ton, even though if you've seen the theatrical version, you've kind of seen the movie, but at the same time you haven't.
I will watch it. I definitely want to watch it.
Yeah.
So.
And Steppenwolf actually, they actually make the character a bit better.
I hear he looks better.
He looks better, but it also does have Darkseid.
Aye.
And the New Gods in it, at least as in the side, as like one of the controlling forces of events. So you actually get to see one of the much more threatening villains of the DC universe.
Yeah, that's cool.
And
I'll definitely check them out.
Yeah, God, I feel like I could kind of gush, but I would be a bit disjointed. Is by far an improvement, though. Again, there are scenes that go on too long. There's like a nightmare sort of sequence in the epilogue of like a potential dark future. That goes on a little bit long, but interestingly enough, also features Jared Leto's Joker.
Oh, okay.
But better. Like he isn't damaged, tattoo-headed Joker from fucking Suicide Squad. He's more Joker. He's still looks kind of weird and a bit long-haired, but he's kind of more as you'd imagine the character to be. There's various sort of premonitions or fears throughout the movie about like evil potential of Superman being evil. God, there's just more motivation as well for the characters. Like in the original cut, they seem to just decide to bring Superman back to life from nowhere.
Yeah, they want him.
Whereas in this, they kind of establish why that's important and why they're considering it, and even the potential downsides of it.
Fair enough. No, I will watch it. I've got to experience it, I guess, especially with everything that's happening.
I feel like I could mention like certain characters and more stuff that comes up, but yeah, I don't want to ruin it too much. Especially if you're like a comics fan or aware of the universe, I think it is definitely worth a watch. I mean, it's a bit of a commitment. I personally don't have an issue with like really long movies. Some of my favorite films are quite long ones, but I do totally intend to buy it when it does come available on disc as like a solid copy, just because I want to support it. And I will watch it again.
Probably how I'll watch it, to be honest. I'd rather buy it than rent Now TV again. Jesus.
Yeah, that is not a good service.
Yeah.
But no, it's really good. Now I can't really comment on the budget of this because there isn't really one posted, which I don't know how you could even calculate that.
I was going to say it'd be really hard.
But in terms of like ratings, it's gotten like a solid 8.2, so it's second to Joker and like the series of like having good ratings in it.
Which is probably the way it should have been. Like, it's something like that. That's your big main film. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's like a DC fan, and it definitely feels more like a Justice League film. I still think it's a bit too
long.
a bit too long, and I do think the direction the universe is probably a bit too serious, especially when it comes to Superman. But now that I've kind of accepted that, I can kind of still appreciate what it is, and Cavill is the perfect Superman.
Yeah,
even if he is a little straight-faced, a little too straight-faced sometimes.
That's fair though.
Yep, I would definitely recommend it.
Cool.
God, I am aware we are hitting the 2-hour mark again.
Yeah, fair. I'm going to have to pop off soon anyway.
No problem. I'm just going to round that up. So yeah, that's kind of a very brief overview of my feelings on the DCEU.
Yeah, and I enjoy them, and I hope that they make more and that they put more effort into it, to be honest.
Sadly, there was some optimism about the Snyder Cut being so well received that they might go more in that direction again and expand it, but Warner Brothers have also pretty much said that they don't intend to do that.
So again, producers involved.
And one of the new people that are getting in charge to direct the DC universe is going to be J.J. Abrams.
Oh, great.
The same guy that ruined Star Trek.
Yeah. Excellent. Can't wait.
And God, the next, and it also looks like Henry Cavill is probably going to be out as Superman as well.
Yeah, no, I heard.
Because the only announced project for Superman is going to be led by Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Okay.
Who is a comic writer and is a black comic writer, I should mention. It shouldn't necessarily be an issue, but very much on the politically activist side of things. And has said some really questionable shit, in my opinion, and other people's opinions in the past.
So do you think they might change Superman then?
Yeah, because they're going with a black Superman.
Oh, is that actually what they're doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to go with one of the sort of Elseworld sort of Superman or other universe ones mentioned, like Val Zod, who I don't know really anything about. I just know he was mentioned as a potential Superman.
Yeah. That's going to piss a lot of people off, though.
I'm not really big on like really blunt force trauma political activism, especially when it's just really not fucking needed.
Yeah.
And knowing what I know about this guy, it probably is going to be very purposely divisive.
So dead then. It's another franchise.
Yeah. Sadly, like other franchises we mentioned, including Doctor Who, if this is the way they're going to go and it fails, fucking had it coming.
All done. Yeah.
But fuck it. Who knows? Maybe we'll get good stuff. I'd like to say maybe stick to the comics, but the comics themselves, a lot like Marvel, aren't doing too great at the minute either.
Yeah.
I see myself looking more towards the past, and I've been getting back into reading comics, and want to watch Smallville and some of this other stuff again.
Pining again for the old ones. But no, yeah. Decent films. There's a lot in there that I would recommend, but there's a lot I would avoid as well, to be honest.
No, if you haven't seen it, you are interested, definitely check out the Snyder Cut version of the Justice League. And if you do like it, not to get all preachy, like, seriously support it. Like, that movie only exists because fans push for it.
Yeah.
And if you want to see more of it, and if you want to show your appreciation, spend money on it, tweet about it, give it the good praise if you'll enjoy it, like, because
I will. I'm definitely going to buy it when it comes out.
Because Hollywood again just has this really weird fucking attitude that's developed where it feels like it doesn't have to listen to the plebeians who gives it money.
Yeah, which is crazy.
And they should be able to dictate the taste, and that's just not the case, and that's just not how it should be. So
consumers have rights.
Yeah, not to be a bit dour and on a negative note, but no, check out the Snyder Cut, and I will definitely be buying it when it is released. But
no, same.
God, we do go over.
Yeah, I am gonna have to pop off. Like,
me too. I'm hungry. Well, I need the toilet. I'm not combining those two acts.
Yeah, well, maybe. So, no, I want to thank you for putting up with myself again, though, today.
No problem. I feel like I kind of led this one a bit, but it's just...
Well, you've seen more than me, to be fair. So,
and that's not always a good thing, mine, so...
Nah, it is. It's always good. Oh.
I'll get back to you with my Birds of Prey review.
Yeah, and Shazam.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one at least. But
watch that last and end on a goodie.
Yeah. It's good to have you around, and I hope if you guys are listening to this, I hope that you did enjoy it. So
yeah, please give us a subscribe. We need to. You get to hear us more.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm mentally done. That was Johnny Come Lately's episode 17, I believe.
Yeah.
Good night.
Thank you.
Boosh.